The 2021 Formula 1 season kicked off with pre-season testing in Spain, and the Scuderia Ferrari team looked like the one to beat this season with their driver lineup of Daniel Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi. They looked very strong going into this season. They had their fingers crossed to rekindle some of the glory of the past, as they've struggled in recent seasons to get the titles they feel they may have deserved. Sebastian Vettel announced that this would be his final season in Formula 1, and he'll be partnering Esteban Ocon in the Mercedes team this year. Is this the end of the era? Will Mercedes still be on top before the end of the year? Who knows, but it's certainly going to be a close one. After entering Formula 1 a couple of seasons ago, Volkswagen finally looked like championship contenders. They kept Adrian Sutil for one possibly last season in Formula 1, and they signed F2 champion AlexZAfRo for the season ahead. Lance Stroll entered his 5th season with Williams. They renewed an old livery back for the 2021 season. They also signed a new driver in Nico Carey, who's a rookie and did very well in the Formula 2 championship last year. They'll have their fingers crossed that this will be a good year. After many rumours through the F1 2020 season, Skoda finally announced that they'd be racing in the sport for 2021. They signed up 2 drivers who had been struggling the last few seasons with the results. Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas is an incredibly strong B-team pairing. They'll have their fingers crossed they won't have to be constantly playing second fiddle to the Volkswagen team. After a couple of promising seasons with a couple of victories, McLaren look back in the midfield for the 2021 seasons. Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz will be hoping, keeping their fingers crossed, they can rekindle some of that success, but it's looking unlikely as the McLaren car this season is looking poor. After BMW took over Sauber last year, they'd had their fingers crossed that this season will be much better than the last. Unfortunately for them, they look right at the back of the grid once again, and Pascal Wehrlein and Nico Hülkenberg look like they have their work cut out to have any sort of chance of points this season. On Toyota's return to Formula 1, they were impressed with the pace in pre-season testing. Nairo Fukuzumi and Luca Giotto will be lining up for the team this season. They'll have their fingers crossed that they can beat some of the more established teams in Formula 1 and maybe spring a surprise and even a podium this season. After Aston Martin picked up a couple of victories in his first couple of seasons in Formula 1, we thought they might be championship contenders, but 2021 looked like they were way in the midfield tier, and Grosjean and George Russell were going to have their work cut out to have any sort of chance of wins this season. Mick Schumacher finally got a full-time chance of being a Formula 1 driver this year. After reserve outings in the last couple of seasons, he finally got his shot with the Haas team. He'll be lining up alongside stalwart at the Haas team over the last few years, Santino Ferrucci. When Red Bull pulled most of its backing from Formula 1, it left Pierre Gasly without a race seat. He joined Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari B team, propelled by Prema this season. They'll have their fingers crossed they'll have chance of decent points this season. All the talk and testing was finally over. We're ready for the first race of this 2021 Formula 1 season. Australia, as it normally is, hosts the first race of the season. But as the tension builds, let's head you over to the qualifying commentator this weekend, Ayrtono UK.
Daniel Ricciardo struggled in Australia and was beaten by his less experienced teammate Antonio Giovinazzi. Ferrari locked out the front row of the grid. Vettel confirmed before Australia that this would be his final season in F1 and was off the pace of his teammate Esteban Ocon. 38-year-old Adrian Sutil beat his rookie teammate by 1/10 and will be determined to keep the number 1 status this season. Ferrucci put in an incredible lap for Haas, putting them into the top 7, whilst Lance Stroll was 0.4 seconds off his rookie teammate, Nico Carey. In Skoda's first race in F1, they put in solid laps to put them both in the top 11, and will hope to run as rear gunners to the works team VW. In Toyota's return to the sport, they were impressed with the pace of Luca Giotto, who put them 13th. Both McLaren and Aston Martin struggled to live up to the pre-season hype, and they look firmly in the midfield for this season, and may struggle to rekindle the glory from the past. Prema and BMW look to be the backmarker teams this season and may struggle to break into the mid-pack due to the financial restrictions that both teams have.
Great stuff. Thank you, Joe, for the qualifying report there. Let's have a look here at the standings. Giovinazzi only just pipping Ricciardo to the P1 on the grid this season. Esteban Ocon and Vettel both actually getting the exact same time, which is pretty impressive. Ferrucci, obviously a big shout out to him there, starting P7, and Carey way ahead of his much more experienced teammate Lance Stroll. Mick Schumacher also picking up P12 on his F1 debut. He'll be loving that. McLaren, Mercedes, look at that, 14th and 15th. That's terrible for them. And also Aston Martin down there at the back of the grid once again with the BMW Ferrari team. So let's get ready here, guys, for the Australian Grand Prix. This is going to be an interesting one. So the tension is building all around the Formula 1 paddock here. What is going to happen in this first race of the season? The grid seems to be throwing out a little bit of order of what we expected over the last couple of seasons. Mercedes don't seem to have the dominance they've had for the last 7 or 8 years. They seem to be on top here this season. So we're seeing the strategy here for the Volkswagen team. AlexZAfRo looks like he's going to be going quite a long way on these super soft tyres. But let's look to the lights here at the top of the screen here for the first race of this 2021 Formula 1 season. Lights are out and away we go. Great start there from AlexZAfRo down to turn 1. Looks like Esteban Ocon's had a bad start, but Giovinazzi into the lead already. Side by side here, I think that's Nico Carey. He can't quite get past, and we keep P6 for now, slightly sideways there on the exit of the corner. AlexZAfRo just about keeping it in the right direction as we head down to turn number 2. I think we're just about going to get it turned through there, just about in P6. Lance Stroll has made it past his teammate there, Nico Carey, in P6 right now. So let's have a quick look of a replay here of the start of the Grand Prix here. Giovinazzi gets a great start from pole position here. Both Mercedes drivers also getting a good start, but we need to look down the back of the grid here. This is where the contact is made. Slight contact there down to turn 1 between Vettel and Ricciardo, but a great start there from Giovinazzi puts him way clear of the pack through the first couple of corners. But we need to go on board with Nairo Fukuzumi here to show you what happened in turn 1. He tried to cut across the first corner here, but made contact with one of the Aston Martin cars on the inside. He just about made it through the first corner without many serious damage there, but he's not going to be too happy with that on his F1 debut here, Nairo Fukuzumi. So let's go back on board with the VW driver here on lap number 2 here. You can see the gap to the 5th place driver, Adrian Sutil, is definitely going up here. Even though we're pushing like crazy, the gap is just going up and up and up. So it's going to be a big, tough battle ahead for us to have any chance of anything better than P6 this weekend. Let's go on board with Sebastian Vettel just further up the pack here. He's trying to go for a move here to get P2 away from Daniel Ricciardo, but he can't quite get the overtake done. Sebastian Vettel has to stick behind just for now, but is he going to be able to go for the overtake here? Down the back straight. I think he's trying to go around the outside. It's side-by-side stuff. I don't think he's going to surely get around the outside there. I think he might do actually. Oh, so close, but I think Ricciardo's just going to be able to hold off from now. It's side-by-side stuff here. Daniel Ricciardo, is he going to be able to? But it's not going to be any chance through there, I don't think. We'll see down this main straight here. Will he have any chance whatsoever of keeping ahead of Sebastian Vettel here? And it's really fast. Mercedes-powered car down the main straight. The DRS will be wide open here as we head down to turn 1. I think he's got the overtake done down the inside. He's got the overtake done, has he? It's side-by-side. We'll see. Maybe you can get a bit of DRS back here, or even a bit of a slipstream with the DRS. We'll see. Is he going to be able to keep the position? I don't think Daniel Ricciardo is going to go back for it there. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be stuck in P3 for now. As we go on board with Adrian Sutil here, we can see he's doing a really good job to keep up with the much faster teams this weekend. The Volkswagen car probably only keeping up because Daniel Ricciardo has such slow pace. But saying that, Daniel Ricciardo, lap number 5, has actually gone for an overtake here on Sebastian Vettel. I think he's got the overtake done there, round the outside, thanks to a bit of DRS down the straight before, but great stuff there from the Ferrari driver there to pick up P2 once again. Giovinazzi is flying off into the distance there, but nonetheless, still a really good result here so far for Daniel Ricciardo. He knows he doesn't have the pace this weekend, but he's still got P2, so that'd be massive for him. So, lap number 5, I think this is where most people are thinking about possibly coming into the pits to pit for some new tyres here. You can see we are starting to struggle. The gap to the cars ahead is slowly going up, and the cars to like Carey and that behind are slowly going up as well, which is good, but we never know. When they come to the pit lane, maybe they'll get the undercut slash overcut on us here. So let's see when we decide to pit here. I don't think it was lap number 5. I think we went on one extra lap. It was. So lap number 6, you can see the Ferrari driver, Daniel Ricciardo, and the Mercedes driver in the pit lane as well. As the leaders gone to lap number 7, we're exiting pit lane there. As we come into the pit lane there, good stuff. We're going to switch over to the soft compound tyres. You can see the cars are doing so right now. So into pit lane is the Volkswagen team going to do a good job for me here as we roll into the pit box. They're switching over to the soft compound tyres. Fingers crossed it's a good enough stop. It's not perfect, but it's a good enough stop. I think we are going to come out in traffic weather, which is going to be a little bit disappointing here, which is it's going to really hold us up here, especially if we're going to push. But actually, we come out in traffic, but it's actually come out quite a bit ahead of us here. So we've actually done a decent job of getting out in some clear air there. Yes, it's quite far behind the leading bunch, but still P16 with clear air, with fresh tyres. We should be able to push here for a couple of laps and maybe get the undercut in a couple of cars here. So on to lap number 8. People are starting to come out the pit lane here. I think Adrian Suttel's actually managed to make up a couple of positions there, which is going to be be big for him. And as well to that, both Ricciardo and Vettel have lost the position to Esteban Ocon, who's done a masterous strategy call there to come out ahead of both of them. So Ocon is currently in P2 as we stand, P3 for Adrian Sutil, P4 for Sebastian Vettel, and P5 for Ricciardo. But on board with Bottas, he's side by side with the Haas car. Is he going to get the overtake done? It's so close. I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to get it done. It's still side by side, but I think he's actually just about squeezed through. So good stuff there from Valtteri Bottas. He's now ahead of this big old queue of cars in the mid pack here. So around the final corner, hopefully for him, we'll keep this. But I think he'll have DRS used against him as we go to turn 1. There's a Toyota coming out the pit lane. He's made contact. Valtteri Bottas with a silly mistake there. Hits the Toyota who's coming out the pit lane, loses a bunch of positions, and undoes all of the good work he did to get past the car a couple of corners ago. So you can see here on the replay with the Toyota's car, he's coming out the pit lane. There's not really anything he can do here. Bottas just leaves him no room whatsoever and just slams into the side of him. So silly stuff there from Bottas. That's going to have lost him a couple of positions here. So let's go back to the front of the pack here, and there's been some changing around in the order as they lap back markers here. You can see Daniel Ricciardo's made himself back up into P2, P3 for Esteban Ocon, P4 for Adrian Sutil, and well, Vettel is just going to be disappointed with this. He's currently in P5 here with a lot to gain in the last couple of laps. The Toyota car, I think, will be pitting at the end of this lap here. So on to lap number 11. We've definitely lost a lot of time here. Sebastian Vettel, you can see, is the car in front to us, but we've also got Nico Carey not too far behind. So even though we don't have much pressure from ahead, like we don't really have to chase down anyone that's so far behind them, we've got a lot of pressure here from Nico Carey and his Williams teammate behind him, just behind as well. So this is going to be an interesting last couple of laps here. Are we going to be able to hold on to P6? Keep our fingers crossed. So heading into these last couple of laps here, the pressure is on to make sure we keep this P6 for Volkswagen here. We know, you can see Adrian Sutil's lost the position, he's back down to P5. Now this is sort of what we expected, but to lose any positions from here would be very disappointing here. So a few laps to go here, lap 13. Oh, we made slight contact with the gravel there. That's not going to help with a couple of corners of this lap remaining before the DRS. So Nico Carey right up behind us here. He's going to have a really good run and DRS down this main straight here. There we go. He's activated the DRS. Is he going to be able to go for a move down to turn 1? You can see I'm going defensive. And wow, he's just so quick in a straight line. But he's locked up down to turn 1. He's sort of just left the gap. So we've gone for it. We're back into P6. We made a slight mistake. Oh, just about keeping it in the right direction here. Big pressure. He's going to have more DRS here, but he can't quite get that overtake done. We keep P6 for now. So, as we head on to the last lap of this race here, can we keep this position? Fingers crossed. Oh, a slight bit of correction as we went around the final corner. Surely he's going to be past us into turn 1. Look at that, flying past us with DRS here. And his teammate as well, possibly of Lance Stroll, getting past. No, he couldn't quite get past this. So, can we possibly keep this position to be massive for the championship here? Stroll's putting the pressure on with the DRS. He's past us. It's side by side in the braking zone. I think we're just about going to keep it. There we go, back into P7. But it's just so gutting to have lost P6 here. But we're right up behind Nico Carey here. Can we possibly get back past him? There's not that many opportunities to get past on this track here. So around the first part of the second sector here, are we going to be... There's not really an overtaking place down here, but we might be able to get it on the brakes if we're close enough. We're not really close enough. We go on the brakes, we slightly lock up and go a bit deep into the corner. That's actually really hindered us there. That's probably our chance of an overtake gone. As now, look at this, Lance Stroll around the outside. He's got so much more speed, and I think there's slight contact there as Stroll brakes a little bit earlier than expected. Let's head to the front of the pack here, and Giovinazzi has absolutely mastered this Grand Prix here. He's going to take the 25 points and lead into the second round. Looks like P2 is going to go to Ricciardo and P3 to Esteban Ocon. Going back to ourselves here, we've lost so much time. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get anything above 8th place here, which is really gutting considering how our pace was okay throughout, and I kind of feel we definitely should have got P6 here. So around the last corner, really disappointed in myself. We're not that far ahead of Verstappen in the B team car here. Oh, that's not exactly what we want. Across the start finish line, P8, 4 points. That's really not what we wanted, but nonetheless, it's what we're going to have to take home from this first race of the season. So Giovinazzi wins, Ricciardo in second, Esteban Ocon in third, Adrian Sutil picks up P4, which is also a massive for the championship ahead of Sebastian Vettel there. P6 goes to Nico Carey, P7 to Lance Stroll. We picked up P8, Max Verstappen getting a top 10 finish, which is massively important, as did Mick Schumacher. Gasly just outside the points, Ferrucci just outside the points as well. And you can see the BMW Ferraris right at the back of the pack there. So that's it. Let's have a look at the standings after the first race of the season. So of course the points are exactly the same as the race results there. So Giovinazzi got 25 points all the way down to Schumacher, who's on 1. More importantly, let's have a look at the constructor standings after the Australian Grand Prix. Ferrari lead the standings on 43 points. Mercedes have 25, so already an 18-point gap there after the first race of the season. Volkswagen on 16, whilst Williams are on 14. Skoda pick up 2 points and Haas are on 1. Toyota, McLaren, Prema, Aston and BMW Ferrari all picking up nothing in this first weekend of the season. So that's pretty much it for this first episode, guys. Massive thank you to Chris, who made this mod. There's a link to his channel down below. We'll be doing a video on this mod soon about talking about why we did this, why we did that. And I also want to say a massive thank you to Joe Aoturno UK, who did the qualifying report for me. My idea for this series is that a new person will do the qualifying report in every single video. That's my idea, but massive thank you to Joe. Link to his channels down below. He's got some awesome content, as has Chris over on their channel. So that's all linked down below. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I really would appreciate it if we could hit maybe 500 likes on this video. I'll see you all soon for another episode of Volkswagen Career Mode. Goodbye.